I'm Dave Daly with KeizerTV.com. We're here today at the Keizer Fire Station and doing interviews about the commemorative acknowledgement of 70 years of fire district service here in the community of Keizer. And I have with me here Jim Trett, who was around this great organization for many years. And Jim, share with our audiences how you became to be part of the Keizer Fire community.
Well, I became part of the community because I was actually at the Keizer Elks Lodge with an Elks function and at Christmas time in 1973, and the fire chief at the time said, "We're all going to the fire station, why don't you come along?" So we all wound up at the old Keizer Fire Hall, and when Chief Sanford found out I lived in Keizer, he said, "You should be a volunteer firefighter," and it just kind of started from there. It started in January of '74.
Wow. January of '74. Do you remember we had the yellow engines at that time?
Always had yellow engines, you know, because you could see it at night was the reason we were told.
Wow.
So,
what was one of your first experiences rolling up on a call that you remember just really hooked you to be a part of this great organization?
actually, I think it was the training part of it that really set the hook. Because we had some burn to learns where you got to go in. It was kind of controlled, but not really. And the excitement of that happening and being able to go in and see what you could do there. And go. I was telling some of the guys here earlier that my first burn to learn, I went in and I thought my hair was melting onto my ears, which was, they were just blistering. And when we came out, the fire chief looked at me and said, "Well, that's when you're supposed to tell everybody to come out." And I said, "Nobody told me that before I went in."
Wow.
And I think that was part of it. It was just kind of like, oops, but at the same time, we had a good laugh about it. So.
Wow. Well, that's this little asterisk about volunteering as a first responder. There was probably so much more to it than what you expected, between the lives that you had an impact on, finding people in distress and being there as a support system for them, not only the structure, but just dealing with life in a very stressful moment. And, you know, we look back at the great leadership that we've had, that those that you mentioned, training was a big part of it. But from our previous interviews, this camaraderie between the men and women. Share with us some of these relationships that you really treasure now.
When you do the kinds of things you do in the fire service, and I think it's most any emergency service, you do so much, you have to depend on each other. You have to have each other's back. And I think when that happens, it carries over into your personal life. You become friends, you become family. Somebody gets sick, you're there to help him. I remember being over trying to finish a guy's roof because he fell off the roof. Wow. And a bunch of us went over and finished the roof, which is scary with me a tool in my hand, but wow. I handed stuff. but I think those are the kinds of things that happen. I think part of it gets in your blood. It's for me, it was all of a sudden realizing that you were really helping somebody on one of the worst days of their life, no matter what the situation was, fire, medical, whatever. And I think that became the passion enough so that eventually I became a staff member here and was here for 15 years doing it as a professional. Wow. So it just became something. Yeah, that was the passion. That's what I wanted to do.
But it seems like once a volunteer, always a volunteer. I've seen you at our pancake breakfasts. You're still around the organization, and how does it feel to have got to 70 years? What do you feel now sitting in this chair, seeing all that has come to be?
Where'd that go? Where'd the time go? Yeah, no, you think back to the old station and what we have now here in Keizer, and the equipment and the support from the community. I think that is another part of what makes it really special being here. The people in this community have always been a huge support to the organization.
Yeah, well, I think we have many years in our future. Keizer is an exciting time. It's got new things, new organizations coming to our town, new families moving here, and we carry a great legacy of first responders. And like it started with one man who said we need an engine in this town, and now it's grown to quite a prestigious organization. But it's only here because of the great volunteers like yourself. And we have volunteers in 2018, and there's open times throughout the year, everybody, that you can learn about being a part of this rich legacy that Jim's a part of, and Jesse and Gary, we've talked today about this great camaraderie, and I'm sure they'd welcome you to come down and explore your options of coming here. But we wouldn't have gotten here without you, Jim. So please express to your wife and family how grateful we are for them supporting you, being out there to make Keizer safer.
They put up.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with us very much, Jim. And for more great stories here in Keizer, visit KeizerTV.com. Thank you.